Hey, what's up, Reefers? It has been a while since I've done a tank update. I figure it's time. So right off the bat, I can tell you that there is an issue. If you look on the sandbed, you notice that, yes, algae seems to be coming back. And I have speculation. So let me just show you the extent. It's not too bad yet, but it's definitely coming. Alright, so as to my guess, about 3 or 4 days ago, I was trying to remove the rainbow bubble tip anemone, and I was trying to like get his foot off. It simply would not come off. I thought it'd be easier, but apparently it's not. So I went and got a piece of ice, a pretty big piece of ice, to massage the foot, because I hear that sometimes if you massage the anemone's foot with ice, they'll kind of let go eventually. But unfortunately, I was there massaging his foot for about 5 minutes. Anemone did not let go, but the ice disappeared. That means that I introduced tap water into the tank. So, I mean, just a little, it's a little bit, it's not too much. But even before then, I started seeing a little bit of haze on top of the sand that I suspect may be algae. So this kind of just confirms it. So what else could it be? The GFO, here, let me go down to the sump. So the common GFO, I replaced it recently. I replaced it about maybe a week ago. So I replaced it about a week ago. I figure it's time. So it should be pretty fresh. I did pull out a lot of the Cheetos in the last water change 2 weeks ago. I pulled out a bunch. So I wonder if it's because I pulled out a Cheeto, there's no competitor with the other algae, so it started growing. At the same time, I feel like my photo period is actually pretty long now, because about a month and a half ago, I tweaked the photo period so that it's actually running on it's on full blast for about 9 hours a day, versus I had 6 before. So that may have introduced something too. And the last possibility that I really don't want to think about. I have not seen the other Yasha Goby for a few days already. I'll say it's almost been about a week. It's been almost about a week since I've not last seen the other Yasha Goby. I'm hoping that it's just in his burrow doing whatever, and then one day he'll pop up again like last time. Last time he disappeared for about 5 days, and all of a sudden he just kind of showed up again. But I'm really afraid he just kind of perished in the burrow somewhere, and yeah, it's causing the excess nutrient. I don't know. That's always something, right? So the bad news is that it seems like algae is coming back for whatever reason. There seems to be some kind of nutrient issue in the tank again. I have not cleaned out the refugium in a long time, ever since I vacuumed it. So maybe I'll do that. So that kind of sucks, doesn't it? When you thought you got it beat, but it's right back. I wouldn't say square one, because there's a lot of good changes, but it's coming back, which is all right, keeping things interesting. All right. Well, another thing I noticed is that my blue tang started picking at things at the wall, picking an algae. That is a pretty new behavior that I noticed from him. So that's why you see the algae clip. I don't think he has actually picked at the algae yet. And I just added this yesterday, so it's not something that's been here for a while. But I have not seen him pick at the nori yet, so I think he's still trying to. We still gotta wait for him to associate this with as food. Now, last week I was freaking out before my Canada trip, or was it 2 weeks ago? I think it's 2 weeks ago already, because the elegance coral was getting stung by the hammer, the wall hammer back here. And it was looking pretty bad for a while, but it seems to have, here you can kind of see it through the crack, the fleshy part seems to have recovered, and the tentacle is slowly getting longer again. So I think that is a good sign, and it's opening big. So I think it is totally happy once again, and I'm keeping an eye out on the elegance to make sure it's not stinging the Ricordia, and so far it seems to be okay. But I have to move to elegance. That's not its final destination, so I gotta find a place for it. And speaking of hammer, you see that it continues to send out the sweepers. Although at the moment that seems to be as far as it goes, but if I do plan to keep the hammer there, I'm probably gonna move it in a little bit. And it seems to be bothering the Redactus up there too, so I may end up moving the hammer. I feel like the Elegance probably fit that spot better because it has been there for a long time and it did not bother anything else. And the tentacle kind of sweep inside towards the inside of the tank, and it's not really it's not low enough to touch other things. So that's the Elegance situation. Elegance recovering, hammer still being a jerk, just trying to sting things around the area. Well, just doing what it does, so it's all good. Zoa's doing well. Zoa's spreading, which I'm really happy about. And check out this Tubbs Blue. That used to be one of my favorite Zoa morph back in the days when Purple People Eater is like the top Zoa you could get. But now, of course, like things just got crazy. And it's also a shame because back then I was using Power Compact, I think. Yeah, a long time ago. And the blue actually shows up really, really well. Blue and purple, those are really sought after color. But with LED and with blue being so prominent, the color blue and pile of purple like back there, the Purple Death, Pally, they just kind of disappear with the light, you know? It's a shame. But, I mean, it is what it is. And speaking of corals, the bird's nest, let me zoom in a little bit. The bird's nest seems to be doing okay, even in the shade. Polyps out. Color did not change much. I mean, it's just been in a tank and it's kind of covered up. I'm still trying to find a spot to kind of move it out into the light so that it can properly grow. But real estate seems to be a major issue of the tank at the moment, so I need to start removing things. And look, sliding up here, we see the Xenia frag that I fragged about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, oh, 2.5 weeks now, I think, actually, losing track of time. It's actually doing well, which I'm really happy, because I was having issue growing Xenia, like before I did all the RDI water update and stuff like that. So I think something went right, and it's growing now. And it attached the rock and it's expanded. It's I think it's kind of pumping really, really slowly, so it's not really it's not really pulsing per se. I think maybe it's the pH issue. I gotta test the pH again because I hear it has something to do with a higher pH. They tend to pulse. And right on the overflow box, we have that little frag of a red Capricornus, and it is actually starting to grow onto the back wall, which is great. That's what I want. So I'm really interested to see the final growth pattern. And over here, just corals that I don't have room for, the kryptonite mini colony is slowly recovering from the green clown gobies. And behind that, I actually have a pretty nice mini colony of Tubbs Blue, but it's all close up, of course. And it's close up because it was being stung by the hammer. And over here, I think it's the watermelon or dragon eye with radioactive dragon eye. And it's also closed up because they were like sitting right under the hammers. They were not happy campers. That's why I kind of moved them out here until I can figure out what to do with them. And let me zoom out. And Gold Torch is doing his own thing, you know. Growing, which is nice. I'm keeping an eye on it, make sure it's not touching the Capricornus. So Capricornus continue to grow. Look at the plating, right? Pretty. And you see two bald spots, and those spots actually there's still a piece right there. It's actually from the frog spawn. So I think like the male clownfish still likes to dive into the frog spawn once in a while, and in turn that will rip some of the tentacles, and the tentacles sometimes drift and then fall right on the Capricornus. That's why you see the bald spots. But usually those recover really fast within a day or two. You can't even tell them. You can't even see the spot anymore. And Gorgonian continues to grow and is even branching now. The little top piece. It's going higher than the gyri now and started branching. The Redactus got ridiculously big. And Rosebud with an enemy continues to roam. That clone started roaming. The mother stays there. and it seems to like that spot, which is fine. Blue clove, hating life, being sandwiched between the frog spawn and the rose bubble tip anemone. And Monipora continues to grow fast. And check out the wallhammer. No wonder sending sweepers are getting bigger and bigger. But yeah, I think like I mean, these are good problem to have, I guess. Like corals getting too large, they're running out of space. That means I'm either gotta frag them or sell them, you know, or give them away, whatever, you know. But those are good problem. That means like, okay, things are going right, you know. That's why they're getting large. Speaking of growing, the Goniporus, that actually surprised me a little bit because it has not been doing well. At least I thought it hasn't been. It has not extended at all, and just looking like that. But looking at the edge, it looks like actually new tissue growing on the edge, so I don't understand what's going on. There's like new polyp coming out, but it has not extended itself. Like how a healthy one should look, at least what I think it should look. It's just been looking like that, but the edges seems to have flesh, and the flesh seems to be expanding, so I don't understand. But yeah, the common theme seems to be corals are getting big, they're outgrowing this tank. I may have to sell some of them out. It's a tough choice. For example, like the hammer or versus the elegance, which one would you choose, you know? I probably keep the elegance simply because I've had it longer, and I feel like it makes a good contrast color-wise against the rose bubble tip anemone. But the hammer is nice too, isn't it? But I just don't think I have room for all these stuff. And the hammer seems to be more aggressive. It seems to be stinging things around it, sending out sweeper, versus the elegant just kind of minds its own business and never really bothered anybody before. So yeah, but room seems to be an issue. And speaking of issue, look at the clownfish, the male and female. The female is getting really aggressive, defending its territory against the male. I'm not even sure if they can be considered a pair. It's weird because like when the light's out, they're fine, they're sleeping together and stuff like that. But when the light comes on, oh my goodness, the male is in the doghouse all the time. Maybe that's normal behavior, I don't know. But I'm used to seeing my clownfish swimming together and buddies, you know? So it's kind of new. But yes, I guess my major concern for this update is algae on the sandbed. I cannot believe it's coming back. I wonder... Because, okay, I do see 2 empty snail shells. See that one? Oh, well, maybe it just flipped. Actually, I think it's empty. So I see one right there, and I see one right there, and I see a hermit crab wearing a seraph snail shell as well. That means like I may have 3 dead snails. But how did that happen? You know, did it start this little algae? Did it feel the algae because of dead snails, or is it? Or are these dino? And the snail ate the dino, the snail died, and then further fueled the algae. I don't know. I don't even know. But it just kind of sucks that it's coming back. Anyways, I'm going to keep up with maintenance, you know. I was doing water change every other week. I'm probably going to step it up again back to once a week and see how things goes. And I will probably clean out the refugium to make sure there's no detritus that's actually fueling this, whatever it is. And I just don't know. It just, to me, it seems kind of random. It just happened. Although I did kind of started seeing some signs. The beginning of this year. Oh, sorry, not this year. The beginning of this week, I started seeing a little algae creeping up from the sandbed, and I was like, weird. So, yeah. So it's not always pretty. There's lots of uglies going on, and I do want to share with y'all. Alright guys, I apologize again for a relatively long video. I have a tendency to ramble when it comes to tank update. I think if you let me, I could talk for an hour just talking about different things. There are a lot of things I did not really dive into yet, but I'll save it for next time. Alright guys, cross your fingers for me for the algae issue, and cross your fingers for me for the other Yasha Goby appearing, and especially cross a finger for me, hoping that these two are not related. Well, hope you guys are having a good week, and I will talk to you guys later.